But feel free to ask a question.
Okay.
Say when.
Yeah, it's ready.
Kings 2, chapter 3. Yehoram ben Achav is ruling over Yisrael in the 18th year of Yoshafat Melech Yehuda. And he's bad, but not as bad as Achav. Pasuk Dalid. Mesha Melech Moav haya nokeid. He was a shepherd, so to speak. Right, but he had a lot of sheep, and he would give to Melech Yisrael 100,000 karim and 100,000 elim tzamar every year. In other words, he was subservient to paying a tax to the Melech Yisrael. Now, in the ancient Near East, we always call the name of the king by the eponymous, it means the founder. So Omri bought Shomron and built Shomron, as we learned earlier. Achav is his son. So his children are the Omrides, Omrides, the Omri kingdom. That's the term that the ancient Near Eastern kings used to. They're not calling him the Melech Yisrael. They're calling the king of Omri or the king of Shomron. And even Yehu, who wipes out the Achav dynasty and has himself 4 generations, when Shalmaneser, I think it's the 3rd, has the black obelisk about Yehu, he says Yehu from the Omrides, because that's the Malchut, that's the kingship which is based in Shomron. But this is still Omri. So now, he's paying taxes. And it was when Achav died that Melech Moav rebelled against Melech Yisrael and stops paying taxes. So Yehoram goes out from Shomron and takes account. He's going to go to war, sends a message to Yehoshaphat, right, they're related by marriage, and says, Melech Moav Pashabi, will you go fight Moav with me? He says, of course, Kamoni kamocha, Ka'ami ka'amcha, Kisusi kisusecha, I'm in this with you. Yes, which we're dealing now. So he says, how shall we go? Let's go by Midbar Edom. Let's go south and come around from the bottom. Okay, so that's what they do. And the Melech Edom joins them also to fight Melech Moav. Melech Yisrael, Melech Yehuda, Melech Edom go to fight together, and they travel for 7 days, and they didn't have water for the camp and for the behemoth, and they're desperate. So the Melech Yisrael says, God has called on these 3 kings to give them in the hands of Moav. We've been led into a trap. And Yehoshaphat, who is a tzaddik, not like Yehoram, son of Achav, says, isn't there a Navi Lashem that we can ask what to do? And so one of the servants of Melech Yisrael says, yeah, we have Elisha ben Shaphat, who poured water through Eliyahu, which the Gemara brings as a raya that's greater to serve than to learn from. So he's in Malchus Yisrael, he's not in Malchus Yehuda. Yehoshaphat has run into him before. So he says, well, does he have the word of Hashem? So the Melech Yisrael and Yehoshaphat and Melech Edom all go to see Elisha. And Elisha sees Melech Yisrael and says, Mali velach. What do you need? Go to the prophets of your father and your mother. Your mother is the Philistines, right? Is the Avodah Zarah of Tzidon. He says, Melech Yisrael, no, because God has called these 3 Melachim to give them in the hand of Moab. Do you understand? This is not me. This is not just personal. We're all in this together. This is a momentous event. We need you to respond. Elisha says, Chai, by the life of God, with severe, strong names of God, who I stood in front of. Not for Yehoshaphat Melech Yehuda here, I wouldn't even look at you, I wouldn't even see you. I just want you to know. And now, I'm very upset. Call me a musician, and then if I'm besimcha, because I'm having the music, then the hand of Hashem will be on you. And he says, God says like this nachal would become pools and pools. As God says, you will not see a spirit, you will not see rain, and the nachal will fill up with water, and you'll drink, you and all of your herds and animals. And God that was nothing for God. He's also going to give Moav into your hands. And you will smash every fortified city and every choice city and every good tree you will knock down, and you will stop up all of the springs of water, and every good portion of land that's good for agriculture fill with stones, the opposite of what you do to prepare land. And in the morning, when the mincha came up, when the waters started to come down from the heavens in the morning of Eretz Edom, and when the mincha came up, they found that the water was streaming. When it came time to bring the mincha tamid boker, the korban of the morning, the water was coming from Derech Edom and filled the whole land with water. Okay, a miracle happened, and all of Moav heard that the kings have come up, and they cried out to everybody who could wear a sword, to gird himself with a sword, and they stood on the border. So the question is, where's that border between Moav and Edom? Good. And they get up in the morning, and the sun is shining on the water, and Moav, it looked to Moav like there was blood in the water. It looked like a sea of red. So he said, this sword is that the kings were wiped out. They must have killed each other, and now all the spoils will go to Moav. And so they come to Machane Yisrael, and Yisrael gets up and wipes them out and chases them and smashes them. And that God made a miracle to draw Moav out and put them into the hands of Yisrael, and Yisrael smashed them. And they destroyed all of the cities, and they destroyed all the good portions of land, and they filled all the springs of water, and they knocked down all the trees until there was just stones left in Kir Harashet, which might be reference to a place. They didn't prepare this right now. And the slingshot throwers turned around and smashed it, that city. And the Melech Moav sees that the war is overpowering him, and he takes 700 men drawn swords to break through to Melech Edom and kill him, because he's the neighbor, that double-crossing rat, and he was unsuccessful. And now he takes his eldest son, who was meant to rule over him, and brings him up as an offering on the wall. He kills his eldest son as an offering. And there was a tremendous ketzef, anger, disturbance in Israel, and they pulled off, and everybody went. They pulled off the attack. As a discussion, why did they pull off the attack? So he says, these people are having miracles. Why did they deserve it? He said, well, their great-grandfather Abraham had one child, and God said, offer him. So I got one too, so I'll offer him from Avodah Zarah, right? And there was and therefore, since he was doing Avodah Zarah, and since Yisrael was doing Avodah Zarah, we were in Zeicha to miracles, because halalu, like in Mitzrayim, halalu avdei Avodah Zarah, halalu avdei Avodah Zarah. At any rate, we have here a biblical story of the king, Mesha, king of Moav, fighting against the king of Yisrael and the king of Yehuda. In the mid-1800s, in the middle of no place, I think it was Clement Gano who founded. There's this stone inscribed in writing, and he realizes the antiquity. I don't remember if he was able to read it then. He makes a squeeze. You put layers of linen, and you push them into the letters to get the outline, and you let it dry. You wet it, you let it dry, and you pull it off. And that squeeze is here in the Louvre. And he said, can I buy this from you? And the local said, okay, I'm going out to get money. Now the story goes that the local said, oh, there must be treasure in here. They heat a fire and they explode it, or else it's from internal squabbling of who's going to sell it to him. And so he comes back, it's shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. They gathered up the pieces and put it back, and thanks to the squeeze, we can see some of what was written. And Mesha, the king of Moav, is talking about how he fought the Omrides and got his land back from him. And according to Andre Lemaire of the Sorbonne, in the bottom line, which is now broken, it says Beit David. So it's referring to Melech Yehuda as well. And as we have Beit David in the Tel Dan inscription, we might have it here. And there's all types of things to learn from here, because it talks about the people of God who were always here. So you see a reference to a tribe called God, or a people called God here in Moav. And here is the real thing. These pieces are the original, and these pieces are the replica based on the squeeze, where the pieces no longer exist. So it's put back together, yes, and it's not whole, but we have much of the text. I can't count how many times I in Tel Aviv University have heard a blow-by-blow description of the text and analysis of the letters, and professors in Finkelstein learning what we can see from here. And here we have the French text, but you just get the idea. It's me, Mesha, the son of Kamosh. Kamosh, as mentioned in the Bible, is your shadow, is the god of Moav. Like Yiftach says, whatever Kamosh gives you, it gives you, but this is what God gave me, so why are you starting up with me, right? Kamosh is the king of Moav, and the gods of it. So I fought Omri, the king of Yisrael, who opposed me. I freed him. Kamosh helped me get rid of this guy. The tax that we saw in the pasuk, he got rid of me, and the nation of God lived in Atarot, Dipui long temp miyamin yamima, for forever and ever. And he goes through a number of different cities, Kerayot, Yachatz, right? And he discusses how he beat them. You see the dots over here is discussion of what it is. Yes, Beit Devlatayim, Beit Baal Ma'on, Dibon. So you saw a model of it in Dibon. They have a model of Dibon, which was a major city. Right? So it's a praise to the God of Moav for his victories over us in this perek of Tanakh.